Well, Peter, my memories of 1970, funny enough, we played Ballyhogue and it was a draw the first day, low scoring, fairly dour affair as far as I remember. But the second day, Ballyhogue got a great start and there were 9 points up at half time. The score was 1-7 to a point at half time. And it looked as if Ballyhogue were going to have an easy victory, but we came back in the second half. We got a penalty and we got 3 goals in the second half, and I think it was 6 points, and Ballyhogue we levelled the game, and Ballyhogue in the dying minutes went a point ahead. Tommy Kieran scored a point, I remember that, but Dick Carty levelled it in with the last kick, practically the last kick of the game, and so we went to the third day. It turned out on the third day that we ran out sort of fairly easy winners, you know. It just happened, I suppose. Ballyhogue hearts were broken after being 9 points up and looked to be sailing to an easy victory the second day, but the fact that we came back and sort of took over in the second half and then won easily on the third day. But one thing I do remember about the game, there was 3 sets of brothers on the Ballyhogue team. There was 3 Moriartys on it, and the 2 Foleys and the 2 Aspels. Dennis and Patsy Aspel were centre field actually for Ballyhogue, and we had 4 sets of brothers. There was 3 Malloys and 3 Cartys. There was Larry and myself as 2 brothers, and Andy and Mick Merrigan. And unfortunately, poor Andy and Mick are deceased, and you know, the tragic accident that Andy had in '73, lost his life in that farm accident. But like all Ballyhogue games and Castletown, there was a great rivalry at that stage because it was our 4th time to meet in the county finals, and there was huge rivalry, huge attendances actually. There was at one of the Castletown Ballyhogue games, there was over 5,000 people at a football final in Wexford Park, and I think that was equal to what was going to hurling finals at that stage, because there were always fairly tough matches, and there was the odd row in it too, you know. So I think maybe a lot of people came, but there was an outside referee. Brendan Hayden of Carla was the referee actually, and so there was great rivalry there. But we were always great friends. When the game was over, it was always over, and I must say that we'd be the best of friends, and there was some of your best friends, you know, after that, you know. Just the other thing about it is 1970 Wexford were in the All-Ireland hurling final, so that delayed the football championship, and we played the final in December, but the replay wasn't till April, and then the third game wasn't until May, you know, in 71. So that it's a bit unusual in itself. Played 3 county finals against Ballyhogue in 71. The drawing game in April, second game in April, and the third game then in May, and then we played them in I don't know what month, November, December, for the 71 final, and that was a replay as well, you know. So there's great rivalry there. There was always great rivalry. I can tell you, you'd be fairly sore after those matches. Yeah, well, at that time there was no dressing rooms or anything. We had no dressing rooms or anything like that, you know. You probably had one football, if you were lucky. To be quite honest with you, you might have 2, but that's the way things were at that stage, you know. And matches were very tough at that stage. You know, there was a lot of hard hitting, and that, to be quite honest with you, you wouldn't be walking that well the next day after one of those Ballyhogue games.